we saw your first video about your something about your second chance in life. You mentioned that you left your job and started full-time traveling. So if you can tell us a bit about it,
Yes, of
about your
course.
story. Yeah.
Of course. So, I mean, you guys would like want my whole life story or just like the job before? I won't. I don't want to say too much. I mean, just it's gonna take a long time.
You don't have to tell a lot, but
I'll say in the last 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before this, depending where you are in the world and where you're watching, it might be different the title. But I was therapist, psychologist. So I don't know what people know what this is necessarily, but it's like mental health. So I did my master's, and this is like people have anxiety, depression, trauma. They want to kill themselves. They come see me in the office, right? So this is the job I had before. I worked in Canada as a therapist for around 2-3 years. And then during this time, I realized, you know what? This was the dream growing up to become this. And then when I finally got in that position and worked in it, I realized, you know what? I feel like something's missing. And I didn't see myself working like in an office for 40 years. To me, something about that just didn't make sense to me. Not to say that there's anything wrong with this, right? I mean, I think a 9-to-5 job, it's so popular because it's convenient, right? You have a routine. Most of the time you have benefits, the company and stuff like this. Maybe not in Bangladesh, but at least in Canada, there's benefits, insurance, all these things. But to me, these things didn't matter to me because I wasn't happy, right? And during that time, I thought to myself, okay, what's missing? Why I don't see myself having a future in this? And for me, it's I don't like routine. I always like trying different things. And to me, this is kind of like a quite like routine job. So I didn't like routine. I love to travel. I love to make content. And, I wasn't my true self working in this field in the sense that, as you guys can see, I'm a loud, I'm a bubbly, I'm an extravagant person. And, working in the field of mental health, it's quite a serious job, right? So, of course, it was still part of myself, but I wasn't fully being myself. So I realized, you know what, this is not the future for me. And I put all these pieces together that I just mentioned to you guys, and it all lined up to making content, traveling the world, being true to myself, this loud, bubbly, extravagant person, making content, entertaining others. These are the things that are the most important to me in life. So being a YouTuber kind of fully encompasses all of this. So to me, I said, wow, it's a no-brainer. And it's funny, a lot of people tell me, wow, Alex, this must have been such a hard decision, and it's a good job I had, like being a therapist in Canada. It's a very good paying job. It's stable and all these things. So people said, Alex, like, must have been such a tough decision to quit this, start from zero to do YouTube. And for me, I kid you not, it was the easiest decision of my life, simply due to the fact that I wasn't happy and I knew what would make me happy. So it's like, to me, it was like a no-brainer almost. It's like the answer is right in front of me, so why wait? So I made the jump. I quit everything. I left everyone, said bye to my friends and family, booked a one-way ticket to Japan, and I started in Japan. And now here I am almost 2 years later in Bangladesh now. So like the idea of living in Canada my whole life, to me, and once again, no disrespect to anyone, right? I mean, a lot of people, probably most people in the world, considering our population, they probably never leave their country, right? And that's okay, right? I think as long as you're happy, no problem with that, right? If some people never even leave their city, no problem. As long as you're happy, that's the most important thing at the end of the day. But for me, personally, the idea of living in Canada my whole life and not seeing the rest of the world, to me, that didn't sit well with me. So I've always loved to travel. Like I said, try crazy things, try new food, meet new amazing people. And it's one of my dreams to visit every single country in the world. So for these reasons, I've always loved to travel and just be out of my comfort zone.
with that, how did travel change you?
For sure, made me realize the type of person I am more. Made me realize more things about myself in the sense of that, that I'm quite independent, like I'm good alone, and like that I'm a patient person. Like I seen traveling, like so many people are in a rush and things like this. Like me, I'm like, okay, like I don't care. I'll just take my time. So I've learned a lot about myself while traveling. I've learned what I like, what I don't like. Yeah, and of course, I think the most important part and a really important part in like being a therapist too before, and I think it's like a really important skill in life is having empathy, right? And empathy is like not being able to relate to someone's situation, but being able to understand it and put yourself in their shoes. So traveling the world and seeing obviously people in different life situations and living in different conditions than me, not necessarily for the worse, but for the better too, just allows you to realize, just I guess have like a greater understanding of like the human existence, right? That we're all human at the end of the day, and we all share similar experiences. And sure, even though we might not all be like living on the streets or living in mansions having Bentleys, but there's still something that brings us together, right? And I think this the common human experience, like going to your local tong, having tea and eating street food, right? Doesn't matter where you come from in life, you're able to connect as humans over something as simple as a cup of tea or some local fushka, and to me, like, this is the beauty of life, right? Is that all these materialistic things, who cares at the end of the day? Sure, it can increase satisfaction, but funny enough, tying, I guess, psychology into my new life, there's been studies showing psychology that like people win the lottery, and around usually 5 years, you think, okay, people become millionaire, they become so much happier. After winning the lottery, the happiness level increases, but after around 5 years, it comes back down to the level it was before. So I think money, of course, can make you happy, change your life conditions and things like this, but the happiness is not tied to these incredible amounts of money and these materialistic things, right? I think it's really the simple things, like being happy with yourself, where you are in life, your health, your friends, your family. These are the important things at the end of the day. Your religion, all these things.
Yeah, amazing thought, man. Amazing thought. So you have been traveling a lot, right? You have been traveling a lot. Now, since you're traveling a lot, what is now home to you? How do you define home now?
It's a very good question, because part of my travels too, kind of one of my goals in life is, I don't think I've mentioned it here on the podcast, I don't want to live in Canada anymore. For one of the main reasons, I love my friends and family, don't get that wrong, other than watching at home. But for me, it's the weather. Like winter, around 5-6 months a year, it's quite cold. I don't know, my body, it's changed. I guess when I was younger, like, I actually enjoyed the winter, but just in recent years, things have changed, and it's just kind of like turned me off a bit. So I don't see myself living in Canada the rest of my life. And I don't know yet where I want to live, but this is part of my journey, my travels around the world, visiting these countries, kind of figuring out what I like, what I don't like, and where I see myself settling. So I don't have a definite answer yet. Of course, there's countries, I like, and like I said, things that I like, that I don't like, but I haven't found yet that perfect answer yet, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be Bangladesh. I've only been here 1 month, so maybe after 3 months, we'll see. You never know. I find my Bengali wife, and then things change, so.
It might. It might. We wish you that. Have you ever doubted your traveling lifestyle, or have you ever thought of going back to your 9 to 5?
No, definitely not. To me, and it's funny because when I first left Canada to travel, I think my parents thought it would be a bit of, okay, Alex is gone for 1 year and he's coming back. Now it's been almost 2 years I haven't gone back, right? I think they're understanding more that, to me, this is my new life. Traveling, making content, being a content creator, YouTuber. This is like the future I see, the next 5-10 years. Having a podcast eventually, collaborating, making content with other people, entertaining, exploring the world. These are the things that are most important to me, that I value the most, and I don't want to stop doing them. So, yeah, I think, of course, in the beginning, maybe I doubt myself a bit. I mean, I wouldn't say, and I don't mean to sound this to be like or arrogant, but I believe in myself. Like, I know I will get 1 million subscribers one day, and this is because, to me, in my mind, there's no way I don't make this work. Like, to me, there's no plan B. Content creation YouTube is the plan A, and worst case, plan B, C, or D will be finding different ways at how I can do YouTube. Maybe it will be to specialize in food vlogging or to do something else, but to me, there's no way I'm not making this a reality. So I think because I have such this high confidence and belief in myself, and knowing myself that I'm a hard worker, whatever I set my mind to, I can do. And this is for anyone, right? We're all human at the end of the day. And I think if anyone could do something, there's no reason why we can't do it, if not better than them, right? So if other people can be YouTubers, why can't I? I think I have what it takes, and just have to put in the work now, be consistent, like anything in life. Everything's hard before it's easy. So yeah, there's no plan B for me.
And why stop at 1 million? Why not target 10 million?
There you go. And I mean, it's funny. I make a joke that people say, oh, when I give kind of this spiel to people, they say, oh, you'll be the next Mr. Beast. I don't think so, because I don't see myself kind of making that type of content that appeals to this wide audience and kind of having like these shows and stuff like that. But I may not be the next Mr. Beast, but I'll be the next Mr. Least. So maybe a bit under 500 million. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.